Looks like it's hitting the yellow.
Yeah.
Bless you.
I think everybody's good. And I'll try and eyeball it as we go, too. And I can make small adjustments.
Yeah.
That was a blue
trust
moon
you.
lemonade
Thanks.
cocky sneeze.
Did it sting?
I don't really know yet. I think I'm still living it out.
You don't know yet.
The answer is yes.
Are you dying? I don't know yet.
Welcome, everybody, to Catch All Podcast. I got the Sheik Tariq reporting remotely from his basement.
Maybe.
He was here.
Can you hear me?
Oh, well, there he is.
There he is.
Harley, the engineer,
What's up?
Adam, the Dark Knight,
Hey.
and very special guests, Snoop,
He called us special.
Oh, we are special.
and that is Higgins.
Hey, guys.
Hi.
So, yes, this is your first time being on Catch All Podcast and Catch All Podcast being on your podcast. And I never remember the order of the 3 C's, so please spell it out for me one time.
Man, neither do we.
No, I really don't. Let's see. Today it's
Comrades,
cocktails,
and
comics.
I
Nailed
love
it.
it.
Yeah, just drunk book club where Higgins and I once a month we get together and talk about a book we read over a nice, refreshing beverage, which we're doing today. with you
Yes,
guys.
yes,
Nice.
tell us about it. I enjoy it quite a bit.
With
Derek,
pictures,
you just
though.
have to let them describe it to you and kind of imagine what it'll taste like.
Oh, yeah.
That's
It
what she
tastes
said.
like... Just imagine what a beer would taste like if you poured some lemonade into it. That's it. That's the whole thing.
Mhm. So
It tastes like summer.
Just tastes like summer, which is right around the corner.
So,
Mhm.
so it's a shandy.
Yeah.
It's
Talking about Leinenkugels, basically.
Yeah, he already knows what it is, so I
Wow.
guess we're
Nice.
fine then.
uh-huh.
Nice.
Yeah, I like it. I think I've had a
I mean, I've had a Leinenkugel summer shandy before.
Leinenkugels.
Yeah.
Bless you.
I've never even,
Their
their
summer shandy kind of tastes like Fruity Pebbles.
uh-huh.
Yeah. It's
Interesting.
pretty good stuff.
I've had a Blue Moon float before, which was really good, and I did not anticipate beer being mixed with ice cream tasting good, but that thing was delicious.
Okay.
See, I have had alcoholic ice cream, and that was disgusting.
Really?
I think it's brand dependent because I've heard some people rave about it. But I know that particular, I think it was like a root beer float. It was like a root beer, quote unquote, float.
Like a
And
beer made of like
It was disgusting. That was all I remember.
wormwood or something? That sounds disgusting.
Wormwood?
Just Bud Light and Coke.
Pretty much.
Ew.
Don't need that.
Apparently, there's a bourbon flavored ice cream too. That's not good. Like it's.
I don't think I like bourbon enough to eat bourbon ice cream.
I don't.
No.
I would just drink bourbon and then eat ice cream.
Yeah.
Ooh. Yeah, I can get behind that.
Yeah, I can also
Yeah.
support that.
Well, with
You
like
know?
bourbon, like bourbon has so many different flavors, and so I feel like that also would kind of affect whether or not I'd want ice cream out.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know how much of whiskey aficionados you gentlemen are, but can someone put a nail in the coffin of what distinguishes between like whiskey, bourbon, and scotch?
I'm pretty sure whiskey's just from Kentucky and everything else is bourbon.
So
Or
bourbon,
if it
No,
comes
it-
from Ireland, it's Scotch.
No.
Nope.
It's bourbon is
We
from
just made a lot of
Kentucky.
people
Kentucky's
really
from
bad.
bourbon.
Yeah. And
We say a
then,
lot of wrong things,
Yeah.
and then we hope people email them about us.
Scotch is Scotland.
That makes way more sense than Ireland.
yeah.
Well, so let me
Jr.
piggyback off of you, Adam.
Yeah.
Scotch is from Scotland, but single malt Scotch is only made from the same like blend of mash that they use to distill and everything, and then ferment and all that. Make the whiskey. Blend is a mixture of a bunch of different remnants of other batches and things like that. So if you want single malt, then it's obviously more expensive than blended, and blended tastes like ass to me. So.
Huh.
Now we know. Hey, man, now we can say some smart stuff on our podcast.
Well, I
so
know
people
that.
know we know.
I don't know a ton about Scotch, but I know like with whiskey and bourbon, I'm pretty sure bourbon's always it has to do with barreling as well. So like if to get true bourbon, it has to be in a new barrel, whereas with whiskey, they'll make it in old bourbon barrels. That's my understanding. There's a documentary on I think Hulu, and part of it may be on YouTube as well, where people way smarter than me that actually know what they're talking about go into it. But that's one of the things I remember that stood out to me.
Okay. I've been to the Jack Daniel distillery before, and I know they talked about like barreling and a whole bunch of that stuff where you could buy the barrels, and they had the barrels cut in half that you could get for like little flower gardens and stuff. But they're real pretentious about Jack Daniel's the only distillery I've been to, but they were very particular about their barrels and stuff. And they're like certain, different labels, I guess would be the name. The different labels of whiskey they had were dependent on like the age of the barrel and like higher labels, higher the label and stuff. It's very interesting.
My mom is
Did you know that Jack Daniels is made in a dry county?
They did, and they get around it because they sell it in their gift shop, and they give it out as like gifts with your purchases instead of selling
whiskey.
it.
Yeah, that's nice.
Mm-hmm.
What do you like? So if I just
It's like,
buy
hey,
a
you can't
keychain,
buy this here, but we'll give it to you.
do I get like
I'm gonna buy
a
this
fifth?
Get a bottle of whiskey.
$25 keychain.
I forget the exact verbiage of it, but it is like you buy something small in the gift shop that is worth a lot, and you get a bottle of whiskey with it, and it's gifted to you instead of selling it. But they can't kick them out because they bring in so much revenue to the county.
I'm on board with that. That's so strange.
I'm pretty sure it's the only place in the county that like hires anyone. To be honest with you, that like, I mean, I've never been there, but it just seems like
there's not a whole lot else going on.
There's nothing going on in Kentucky. There's maybe some horses.
That's not true. You got a KFC.
Man, and some chicken. I did just watch that thing you guys talked about the other month.
Oh my God.
Speaking of KFC, I recently learned that. Are you guys familiar with what a Kentucky Colonel is?
Nah.
Sounds like
So
corn.
apparently, it is the highest social honor bestowed upon a citizen from Kentucky,
Huh.
which is what like the Colonel of KFC is.
He's
That's
a
why
Kentucky
he's a
Colonel.
colonel.
And also, what's the guy who plays Ant-Man?
Paul
Paul
Rudd.
Rudd.
I think
Paul
he's
Rudd.
also,
A Kentucky Colonel?
I could
Colonel?
see him being a
Paul
Kentucky Colonel.
Rudd.
I think, if I'm remembering the random article that I watched on
Fact-checking
YouTube, please do. But I had never
if I
heard
was
of it.
Paul
I was
Rudd-
just curious if you guys had.
If I was Paul Rudd, I would have run with that.
If anybody
adopt
deserves to
that
be a
whole
Kentucky
persona.
Colonel, it is Paul Rudd.
I would Paul Rudd with that.
All right, Paul Rudd.
Look at us.
Paul Rudd,
Look
when
at
you
us.
listen to this, just let us know. Send us an email. I'm sure he's listening.
Please.
Send us that video clip of Mac and me.
Yeah.
I think he always does.
Oh
videos.
God.
Speaking of the differences between whiskey and bourbon, I pulled up a
Fucking
little
deep
article
dive.
from viasliquor.com. And it looks like one of the distinctions of bourbon, let's see if I can find where this, is that it has to be 51% corn and aged for 2 years in white oak barrels. And then Scotch is from Scotland.
Ah,
That seems to be the primary differentiation.
I love it.
Hold on. Am I not editing this? 'Cause
I don't
if so, that would be
Figure it out.
lovely.
Oh yeah, we're gonna edit it and then we'll just send you the file.
Wow. We should be on other people's podcasts more often.
Hey, man, now you get to see what I go through every time. It's great. It's just like, here it is.
Adam loves editing podcasts.
Especially when you're planning a wedding too.
Oh,
That must be the funnest.
Oh yeah.
That's not stressful at all.
If you're too busy, I can do it again.
Yeah, but you'll just whine about it.
But I will say the last one was probably it was good. I'll say that much.
They have been.
So we are
I'm kinda
Catch All
curious to where
Podcast.
you're
You
gonna
can
put
find
my-
us on all podcast services and Comrades, Cocktails, and Comics. You can find on all podcast services, correcto?
at least two.
At least two.
At least most of them.
Apple, Stitchers, something that people use sometimes, maybe.
Maybe.
If you can't listen
iHeartRadio?
to us on
I
what
think
you
we
listen
are
to,
on iHeartRadio.
probably. Like, literally, the only thing that I don't think we're on is something like some obscure podcast app that some other person was like, I can't find you on it. And I was like, well, literally just use like anything
Else. Spotify was a trick and a half. It took them a long
Yeah.
time to actually get it up on.
For whatever reason, they liked us, I think. Like a week after we sent it in, they were like, "Yeah, sure, you guys seem legit."
We're about it.
Seem harmless, they said.
Yeah.
So little bookkeeping. I think this is bookkeeping on the bookkeeping from last week. Scrantonicity is playing at Bank Street Cafe August 9th.
6th.
Is it 6th?
You had it
Okay.
upside down.
I think I did the same thing last week. I said the wrong one.
At least you're consistent.
Oh man, is this
Yeah.
your guys' second show?
Nah,
No, this will be like the
5th?
Man,
Something like that. We just
I think I saw the last one.
we just haven't played in a really long time. Skipped
It's
all
been,
2020.
like, a couple years now.
yeah.
I think everybody skipped all of 2020.
Yeah, I wish.
Yeah,
Just checked out.
it was a
for
dark
while.
time.
I think the last one I played, Adam didn't play with me, but I played with my buddy Jonathan, who does the book club with us. He and I and Andrew played Christmas because we did a Christmas show,
Nice.
and that was the last one we did.
Now I didn't play with that, but I did.
You were
show up
there,
for
yeah,
that.
yeah. I remember you being
That's what
there.
he said.
I think the last one I
Always show
saw, Adam played and you didn't play. Unless I'm thinking wrong.
He may have gone to like sit down and take a break or
That's
something.
possible too.
Yeah, anything's possible. Harley, catch us up. What have you been up to?
Oh gosh, so much stuff. Okay, so the first thing, I think I mentioned it a few times on the podcast. Been watching Big Bang Theory, and I finished it,
All of it?
all of it.
What'd you think?
I cried
Oh, yes.
so hard
Oh yes.
at the last episode, which sounds silly, but you have to understand, I don't think I've identified with a character in a show as much as I have identified with Sheldon in so long.
Uh-huh.
The level of social awkwardness mixed with the inability to appropriately appreciate the people around you that you care about, culminating in that speech he gives at the Nobel acceptance. Spoiler alert.
What?
Son of a bitch.
But yeah, so that was incredible. I'm done with that, and of course today I started Young Sheldon, as one does, in the completeness of completing things.
I respect that about you, that you do things in order.
Yeah, it's a curse.
Yeah, you dove right into their podcast, and I just jumped in right when they started getting good.
I can't. I have to start at the beginning of something. I don't know. Some OCD part of my little dumb brain.
Yeah, I haven't actually been listening to our podcast in a little bit. I've been kind of preoccupied with work and life and stuff, and
Sure.
also watching endless amounts of Big Bang Theory.
Sure, yeah.
All 12 seasons in like a matter of a couple months.
Wow.
What else have I been doing? Yeah, oh yeah,
That's impressive.
it's a
like,
lot.
what, 22 episodes a season or
Yeah,
something?
yeah,
Yeah, it's a lot.
22 or 24. I'm not sure how many the first season was, but I think most of them
Yeah.
are like 24.
And now you're on, you said Young Sheldon. That's the
Yeah.
prequel, right?
Yes.
So
yes.
that one, I haven't really watched any of. I haven't watched any of Young Sheldon, and I've only seen a handful of Big Bang Theory. But they look like two different shows. Like just how they're filmed alone.
Yes. So I've only watched the first episode, like the pilot. So far, the cinematography feels much more high budget because it's not filmed to be a sitcom. It's very much so filmed to be the emotional clincher of all of the character development that you already have for the character.
Okay.
So it's like if it's very much so is playing off of the fact that you're watching the childhood of someone you already know, which is cool, like as a trope for a show, I guess.
Yeah. Well, it's a good payoff for people like you. Who've
Yeah,
stuck with the
who
original show.
literally was sobbing in front of their wife watching a comedy on television via their PlayStation. Yeah, yeah, that's very very accurate. But so far, it's very good. The cinematography is really good. They're kind of paying tribute to more of the side characters from Big Bang Theory that were Sheldon's family. So they're kind of expanding that aspect of it, which also is kind of like a cool payoff for them if they're trying to encourage you to go back and watch more Big Bang Theory. It's good because you want to like finish this show and then go back and rewatch Big Bang Theory for the context.
Yeah, so I haven't watched much of this either, but my parents are pretty big fans, and isn't the mom in Young Sheldon like someone in Big Bang Theory, and then the actual the actual mom is the mom of the mom or something like that.
It's a
in
lot of
real
moms.
in real
What?
life.
How
That-
is this?
That sounds like a thing that could be.
I think it's like real life related people or parent or like mother daughter, and then like the younger one is like I don't know. It's something like that where they're related, and the parents in the before times are the parents in the new times.
Yeah, I'll have to look into it. This is the first I've heard of it.
Yeah.
But
What in the world? I've never, I don't know, Big Bang Theory never really grabbed me. Scrubs grabbed me that way, and I cried it into Scrubs. I love Scrubs a lot.
I love Scrubs too. That's well, you cried at the end of season 8 of Scrubs.
Yeah, I disregard season 9 of Scrubs.
I watch it just to finish it, but I've also seen it like 4 times through.
No.
So strange because you rarely finish any show, even good ones. You even finished Breaking Bad.
Oh gosh,
Scrubs is
it took
the
me so
best
long to
TV
do
show,
Ah.
and every other show can
So-
just be a little extra.
Are
on.
you sitting on Breaking Bad being unfinished right now?
Yeah, I haven't finished it.
how far into it
What
have you
is
gotten?
wrong with you?
I'm like
I
at the
don't
beginning of
judge.
season 4.
Oh, dude, come on! You got 2 seasons.
I just got like, I just get burnt out on like things that I start. I'll go like 3 seasons into a show every time, and then I'll just be like, I'll just go to. I bet the first season of a new show will be like better than like the 4th season of this show that I've watched.
You just
I
gotta
don't know.
suffer through all of it.
How would you
just
know
gotta
that when
wait
you're
for the payoff.
rewatching Scrubs?
39 hours. Scrubs is my sleeping show.
I can respect
Now.
that.
nice. The Office was mine, but then they took it off of Netflix. Now it's back to How I Met Your Mother.
I didn't know that they took it off Netflix.
It went
Yeah.
to that Peacock thing,
How I Met Your
NBC's
Mother's not on Netflix anymore.
streaming business. That was their big move to try and pull because that's like the big thing they have is The Office.
Yeah. Didn't Netflix try to pull it like 3 times and everyone lost their mind?
That sounds probably
Yeah, sounds
Yes.
about right.
It's
Same thing happened with
consistently-
Friends, I think.
yeah
Yeah.
same.
Well, Friends was like, because Warner Brothers owns Friends, and so they were about to come out with HBO Max or Go or whatever they're one, whichever one they're on now, and Netflix paid them $1 billion just to have it an extra year before they pulled it, because it's
Crazy.
the second most watched show on Netflix, and the first was The Office. So
Man,
now they've got Stranger Things, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
New Girl, that's about it.
New
Oh, yeah,
Girl,
New
New-
New
Girl's
Girl's
yeah.
good.
yeah,
very
New Girl.
funny.
Yeah. so
I'm ready for like somebody to put out a platform that you just subscribe to that one platform.
I think that's what Hulu tried to do. It was a whole bunch of like people coming together to have their own streaming service to compete with like cable television. And then
No,
they-
I mean like
they
taking
just-
Hulu, Disney Plus, Netflix, and all that, putting it into like one whole like app or like a service.
feel
or
like-
I think we
something.
call that Reddit
that you
and
can,
sharing
like-
passwords.
yeah.
Reddit and sharing passwords.
But then, I mean, it feels like this really like cyclical thing is that's what streaming services were at first. They took all this cable content and then
Yeah.
put it on one streaming service, and now it's getting split out on
Exactly.
all these streaming services.
It's kind of like
It's like you got to pay
pendulum of-
$400 a month just to watch 4 shows because they're all on different platforms.
Yeah.
Or they can just
God, okay.
take it the other way. Isn't we were talking about Paul Rudd? Didn't Paul Rudd make a streaming service that only has one movie on it, or is that somebody else?
That was,
Oh yeah, I
Ryan
think you're
Reynolds.
right.
Ryan Reynolds?
That
Man.
sounds like a Ryan Reynolds thing
It
to
just
do.
played-
It was
Very
Ryan
much
Reynolds.
so.
Yeah,
It played
Wasn't it,
one of his movies
what
from like
movie was it?
2002 or something.
Yeah,
yeah.
just one movie on the entire streaming service.
Wasn't it Selfless or something? Was that the one that he put on there?
I'm
Man,
gonna have to
maybe.
find this.
I heard it was like I think it was like a real deep cut. So
That
I like the movie Waiting with Ryan Reynolds in it.
That's
Waiting's
pretty solid.
Yes.
real good.
and then Still Waiting. That was
Still
probably not
Waiting.
as good.
Was it good enough where you would pay for a streaming service where it's just those 2 movies? I would.
I mean, I watched Waiting on a streaming service, so I guess like I kind of did that.
Yeah.
Kind of.
all right. So it's his 2003 movie Foolproof.
Full
Never heard of it.
Never heard of it. It's Mint Mobile Plus.
So it sounds like a full proof plan.
Hey.
You can leave.
So I fact checked it, and the actress who plays the mother of Sheldon and young Sheldon is in fact the real life daughter of the woman who plays the mother of Sheldon in Big Bang Theory.
That is real
Man.
meta. Jesus.
I knew it was something like that
What the heck?
because they got the same face.
Adam, catch us up. What have you been doing?
Chilling.
Apparently
Nice.
planning for a wedding.
Yeah, how's planning
Yeah.
for a wedding going?
It's going. We're ready for May 23rd.
Yeah, is that the day after?
Yes. Oh yes.
I was about to say that's not the day, is it?
No, we're ready for the day after. So we had something interesting happen. Our caterer died.
What?
Oh,
Jesus.
Yeah. We put a
Stella.
deposit down, and
Stella, shut the fuck up.
All right. Well,
Alyssa's mom had
Did you get
been-
it back?
Well, I think she's working on that. So Alyssa's mom had been emailing him for about a month, and there's no response. So she's like, okay, well, I'm getting a little frustrated here. So she sent him an email. It's a strongly worded email, relatively.
You can kick rocks, old man.
So, like, his daughter or somebody calls her and said, hey, so he passed away in February of COVID. So she felt like dirt. We felt like dirt. And
He was under the dirt.
oh god,
Jesus,
man.
Christ.
So
It's okay. It's okay. They probably don't listen.
he doesn't.
Not anymore.
So we are now trying to find someone somewhat last minute, because usually with catering, you have to book it like months in advance, and we're about to hit 2 months. So we are now looking into Waffle House food truck,
Man,
which I'm kind of stoked about.
funny thing, our friends just got married and they had Waffle House food truck, and it was honestly a
Big
a
hit.
pretty stellar like wedding
Yeah.
food thing.
Yeah. People are just really into like the food's, Waffle House, so you're in for a pretty good time.
Yeah.
You know what you're getting. But like just the atmosphere created by everyone was so excited to see that food truck. I think we all waved goodbye to it as it left.
Nice. It's something different. Like, nobody expects a Waffle House food truck to be there.
Can we?
So
I have a question, Adam.
Yeah.
Is it going to be open bar or BYOB?
for our wedding,
Yeah.
well, it's gonna be like secretly drinking. A lot of my family is super conservative and don't really care for drinking.
Same as that other wedding
So
we
we're
went to.
shotgunning cold boys in the bathroom. I like it.
Oh yeah,
Nice.
we're gonna have some people sneaking in some stuff.
Nice. I was
bring in a
properly
flask.
sauced before I got married.
Oh yeah, I think we all were. That was the first time I've ever had a warm beer. Was at your wedding?
Yep, it won't be the last.
No, it was the last.
First time I ever got drunk was at my own wedding.
Hell yeah, brother.
Hey. First.
So, speaking of things that are somewhat not out of place, but maybe different from what expected, like Waffle House at a wedding.
Just
I feel like things like that sometimes open people up to be, because it's different from what is expected, they can enjoy themselves for what it is. Mm-hmm. Can you guys think of another example that would be something similar to that?
Something that is not expected, so you can enjoy it a little bit more.
Yeah, it's not like
Fa-
like
The
it's
norm.
not finger food at a wedding.
A finger in your bum.
Okay,
that's
That-
one thing. Yes,
that is an example.
Whoa.
Napoleon Dynamite riding in a white stallion at Kip's wedding.
Yes, that is also a perfectly acceptable example.
Yes, I love technology. Always and forever.
I don't know.
It's a tough one.
You have me properly stumped. I can't think of
Chicken
an
noodle
example.
soup in a hot tub, like you wouldn't
Shower
want,
beer.
you wouldn't want it there, but if it was there,
are you eating a bowl of chicken noodle while you're in a
You-
hot tub, or is it
Please
a hot
say
tub
it's full.
of
you
chicken
wouldn't
noodle
be
soup?
eating the chicken noodle soup that you're sitting in. But
That-
if you wanted to eat a bowl that you brought from outside of the hot tub, I don't see why not.
Yes. Okay.
Seems kind of redundant.
This is kind of where I
We've
wanted
already-
this
And if
conversation
you
to
could
go.
put a plastic person that looks like you inside your little bowl of soup, that would be pretty good too.
We're going full meta on this podcast.
It's a little Lego me.
So I recently watched Tenet.
Ooh.
I did
Christopher
say
Nolan
that, but
movie?
it just seemed appropriate to say that. Yeah. It while we're on the subject of me randomly bringing up things that aren't on topic, I think it is my favorite interpretation of time travel in a movie.
Interesting.
I just want to put that out there.
Okay.
I've never seen it.
I haven't seen it. I am intrigued in it. I started watching. It's been a while too. I started watching Inception and got like a quarter of the way through it, and then was getting really sleepy. And I'm like, I can't comprehend this right now. I got to go to sleep, and I have not finished it yet.
Neither of those movies is a movie you want to see fatigued.
Yeah, no. Any Christopher Nolan, you got to be like wide awake to watch.
I was already starting to have a little bit of like a crisis because I was getting tired, and then I was like, oh shit, I'm going to start dreaming, and some weird shit's about to start happening.
Are you guys familiar with the premise of Tenet?
Yep.
I saw a trailer, I think. That is the
So-
extent of it.
The general premise is that there's this dude who's the main character.
Denzel Washington's son, right?
No.
Yes,
it's,
actually.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's John David Washington, yeah.
What? No.
Yeah.
Did not know that.
I was thinking
Interesting.
George Washington Carver.
They might also be related. Who's to say?
Who's to say?
But so he comes to find out that there is in some way, certain objects, and he finds out people, small spoiler, can be inverted in time so that they are traveling backwards. So the example I think they use in like the trailers and stuff is like there's a bullet that's laying on the table, and this lady like puts her hand above it and closes her hand, and it falls up into her hand because it's traveling backwards in time from when she dropped it.
I think it would be floats up.
You're not stopping it. You're catching it.
It's still
It's-
falling.
it's
because
undropped.
But it's
in
reverse.
in the time that it was going,
Yeah.
it fell, but because
Yeah.
it's reversed, it's falling up.
Christ.
It's an absolute mindfuck.
It's like
of a
it's
movie,
like
but
taking
very
the
good.
These are
the
not Back to the
x-axis
Future
of
rules.
time with position being in the XY plane, and then just like making it go backwards. So this is what I like about it though, because when you rewatch this movie, which I've not done yet, I'm really excited about rewatching it. You get to pick out all the things that you realize were going backwards the whole time, even if they look like they're going forwards.
Oh no.
And yeah, it's really cool.
I want to watch it
There's
now.
like an action scene at the end that's like the most mind trippy thing ever. It's real cool.
Dang.
Yeah, it's on the list, but
It's one of those movies that you watch it, you have to like stop and think like, what did I just watch? And then you watch it again. It's like, okay.
Adam, anything else?
No, I think that's about it. That's probably been the most eventful thing that's happened since
Yeah,
I've
it's
talked to you
eventful.
last.
Derek, catch us up. What you been up to there, brother?
Just working. I went and played golf last Saturday. It was a very nice day.
Mm-hmm.
Played like shit as usual.
Was that the one where it was like 80 degrees outside? It actually felt a little hot.
Last Saturday, yep.
Yeah.
After not raining for like 6 days, it's perfect.
Did you play in Jackson?
Yeah, I did.
Did you do all 27 holes?
I wanted to, but I was just I
That's an
I thought about it
undertaking.
when I made the turn to the back nine. I was like, I got through like 3 or 4 holes. I was like, man, I could probably go for another 9. And then I got to like the 16th hole. I'm just like,
Not the day.
because I was feeling it. I was like, all right, I'm getting in a groove. Well, I'm just like I'm bogeying these holes, and I'm like parring and all that stuff. And then I got to like 5, like the 16th hole, and I'm just like, it's gone. I lost it. I just want to go home and eat the rest of these Chick-fil-A biscuits that I got this morning and just die.
Nice.
I feel that.
Very nice.
We golfed not too long ago.
We
too,
did.
and we didn't bogey and par every hole.
Parker did. Oh, like once?
I
or
think I
twice?
got there may have been a bogey. Right after Zach left, he was my unlucky charm. As soon as we kicked his ass to the curb, I started shooting pretty good.
Shoutouts to him.
Uh-huh.
We need to have a big group outing to Morgan Dairy.
Oh, my, yeah.
I
That'd
like
be
Morgan
great.
Dairy.
Down.
Uh-huh. It'd be lovely. Yeah, Sunday or something.
When it comes to golf, I either have really, really good days or really, really bad days.
Mm-hmm.
I have one really good shot, and then I like hitting stuff otherwise.
It's fun. Yeah, it's fun to hit.
I love having a good beer while other people golf.
That's also
That's
fun.
kind of
yeah.
what
Yeah.
I'm about. Yeah, I'll drive someone around. I don't
Just-
care.
Just a single beer.
A lot
Per
of good
hole.
beers. Yeah. I mean, I could drive
mean,
the
as-
first like few holes. After that, someone else should probably take.
Well, I mean, it's
We
just
will
a golf
designate
cart.
you master of beverage.
What do you say?
Huh? You froze up there a little
would-
bit, Derek.
I said we could just designate you the master of beverage.
Oh, I would
Just
love that.
dole out things like the soccer mom at the end of the game, just like here's your snacks. Da, 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 da.
Got like one of those like emergency like beer satchels ready to go
Uh-huh.
in case you guys get thirsty.
Did you? This is a quick little side note. Did you guys see that Elon Musk submitted a filing changing his title and the CFO's title to Techno King of Tesla and the Master of Coin?
What?
I did see that.
I love that.
Are you
so much.
serious?
That is his official title now. Is Techno King of Tesla.
The actual legal document lists that, or like the press release or whatever lists that, and then after that it says, but they will retain their duties as CEO and CFO.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like they're just. God, I love that so much.
Didn't he buy some GameStop?
I don't know if he's bought it. He's shouted it out,
Yeah, I
bringing
know
a lot
he-
of attention to it, but I don't know if he's actually bought any.
Yeah, I know he talked
Needs-
about it, but
Games.
I mean, if he says that he's going to,
GameStop.
then that's probably going to like be looked at as like
GameStop?
manipulation or whatever.
GameStop.
'cause
GameStop stock.
I'm sorry I did this.
Can't stop, won't stop. GameStop.
GameStonk.
Stonks.
Snoop Higgins, catch us up, gentlemen.
I'll let you go first if you want to.
Me? All right. Let's
While
see.
y'all are doing that, I'm going to make another one of these sea shanties or
Oh
whatever.
yeah, I made another one already.
I need to make another one. Higgins, well, I'll tell them what I've been doing.
Yeah, I'll
Could
pour
you
some
make
beer
me-
in some cups.
Thank you. Let's see, what have I been doing? Playing a lot of games here recently. You guys out here do that. I
On occasion.
recently, I think you guys did an episode on it. Higgins told me I went through the entire Uncharted series. Like,
Ooh,
in
Love
like a month.
Uncharted.
I really liked it. I kind of had to force myself to play the first one just because it's so old.
Yeah.
Like mechanically, it's dated. But after that, it was just really smooth sailing. I love that it's just Indiana Jones, but
Oh, yeah.
more extreme. I played the last one I played was the spin-off. I don't know if you guys have played that one as well. It's the Lost Legacy.
yeah,
Oh,
I don't play that.
I haven't played that. I've heard about it.
It's
but
pretty good. You play as what is that girl's name? Chloe from the second game, and it teams her up with the one sort of villain from the fourth game.
Nadine.
Nadine, yeah, Nadine Ross.
Nadine.
And I do enjoy like kind of the story of it, but it felt a little missing just not having Nathan Drake in it at all. It does have his real dumb brother in it though, which I kind of
Dumb
enjoy.
brother. I think we talked about Lost Legacy a wee bit during the last book club, and I did like it. I mean, it was off. It wasn't the same,
Yeah.
but I did like how I think I described it as like almost had like an RPG element where you went around like finding the treasures in like the open world, and then you like unlocked a pendant after you found all the treasures.
I did do that, yeah.
So it gave you like an incentive to collect all the treasures rather than just like, oh, I got them all.
Yeah,
I like that.
I liked the environment because I think you go to India probably to find the Ganesh
Yeah.
artifact. It does open up in that one section where you just have to go like you don't have to get all that stuff to get the pendant. I don't know if I like that in Uncharted though, just because I really enjoyed the narrative itself throughout the other games. That kind of it took me out of like that immersion because then it was like, oh, I'm playing a video game at that point. Whereas like with the other ones, it's just I'm going through the whole story and like I'm really glad I waited so long so I could just go through all of them at once because it's just like a really great long running series that I kind of got to. I felt pretty emotional at the very end of
Oh,
4.
yeah.
Just real good stuff.
Yeah, it's in the feels, all the little callbacks and stuff.
I played the first one all the way through,
Yeah, you did that recently, yeah.
and that's like one of the few video games I finished all the way through because I'm real bad at finishing stuff, like I said earlier. But yeah,
Nice.
So
what else have you done, Snoop?
What else have I done here recently? Not that I've done it yet, but I will do it because I kind of hate myself. Are you guys familiar with this whole Justice League thing that's happening right now with the movies?
Yes.
Snyder?
Yes.
yes.
Yeah.
I'm very glad you bring this up. Continue.
So yeah, like Higgins, I don't know if you don't really pay as much attention, but basically,
All I know is there's a Snyder cut coming.
so did you see the 2017 Justice League?
Yeah, I watched it.
Okay, that makes like everyone in this room at least. But they've re-edited. They took all of Zack Snyder's footage that he filmed way back when, before he got fired / stepped away, and I think they filmed like 5 more minutes of new footage, and now it's just they're going to release a 4-hour cut of that.
So
I thought it was closer to 5 hours.
It's like 4 to 5. It's
I think
too long.
his original cut, I think, is 5 hours long, and then it has been edited down from that. I think like
See,
on-
now I'm mad because now we're going to get like a Zack Snyder's Cut Ultimate Edition, and there's going to be like 3 versions, and I'm going to be pissed off.
it's like Watchmen.
Zack Snyder's Justice League, the DLC.
Yeah,
It's like Marvel vs. Capcom all over again.
So I heard this thing that apparently, like, Christopher Nolan watched the version that came out in theaters, and he was like, Zack Snyder, just don't watch that movie. They really goofed you on
I
that
think
one.
a total of 30 minutes of his original footage was in that, and everything
Yeah.
else was
Yeah.
reshots.
I also heard that story.
What
So like
happened with
maybe
that? Like,
maybe it's a spectacular flick. It's
So
still probably
what
pretty
it-
bad.
What exactly happened with that? Like why did he step away? Or, like,
so
did they change
there's-
hands on that?
Yeah, there's a couple reasons. This was back in, I guess, 2016, because how that whole like universe setup was, they got Zack Snyder to do Man of Steel. It did well enough where they wanted to do Batman vs Superman, but then they also hired him on for Justice League. So they were filming Justice League right when Batman vs Superman came out, and then that movie came out, and I don't like that movie. I know there's people that do like that movie, but I think it's a bit of a slog.
Have you seen the extended edition that is like 3
I've
hours long?
seen some of the extended edition. I've
So-
seen like the scenes that someone kindly put on YouTube, so I didn't have to watch the movie. But yeah, so they were already kind of on Batman vs Superman. Supposedly, he had a lot of creative control, and then when that movie came out and it didn't perform the way Warner Brothers wanted it to, they tried to reel him in for Justice League. Around that same time, unfortunately, his daughter committed suicide, and that was said to
shit.
be the reason for him leaving. But there's also rumors saying that he was going to get kicked out anyway. And then they brought Joss Whedon in because Joss Whedon made the Avengers.
So he's got to do a good job.
He's got to do a good job. And, I mean, anyone's seen... The thing I can say about that version of Justice League compared to Batman vs. Superman is it's mercifully short. Because
What, 90 minutes or something?
yeah, it's like a brisk 90, and you're in and out. And it's not a good movie, but... And it sucks because, like...
You're telling me you didn't like Superman CGI lip the entire time?
I think the worst thing was the part at the beginning when Batman's swinging around the that, and then the water tower, because it's like, man, it just looks
You
like
told
someone.
me that, yeah.
It just looks like someone was swinging a toy around like a.
Well, that's
thing.
the thing is, like, with the reshoots that they did with Joss Whedon, the budget, like, they'll never release the exact amount because it's embarrassing for them, but it was rumored to be around $300 million, and it's ridiculous when you look at how bad those reshoots look. Like, they are on a set. There isn't a scene in that movie that looks like a real location, and I think that with this new cut coming out, it's all the reshoots are gone. Zack Snyder, like, say what you want about him, he does know how to make something look pretty on camera.
He's definitely got a style. He's got a style.
And I think that's what gives him his fans. I think I don't necessarily think I could call him a good director when anyone who says his movies are great are talking about like the DLC versions. Because I feel like you shouldn't need that to make a movie good. I feel like the theatrical cut should be good. And if it's not, if you have to add an extra to make it coherent, you're not a great director. I think he's got a lot of talent, but I also think he kind of gets in his own way. And I don't know. I'll watch this, and hopefully that'll be the end of this long, annoying run that DC has had with their movies.
I literally just watched Man of Steel 2 days ago.
Man of Steel's actually good.
I like Man of Steel. And I've started Batman versus Superman again, and I'm probably a quarter of the way through it. Not that far. In preparation of watching Justice League on Sunday.
So I have also recently started watching DC movies again. So I've been watching through everything. I think I've been doing it, other than the like prequel films, I've been doing it more or less in release order. So I watched Man of Steel. I watched the extended version of Batman vs Superman. I watched the Justice League, whatever version we're calling that one. Watched Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman 84 deserves a pit of hell all to its own. And then I watched Aquaman just yesterday.
Oh, you watched Wet Dave yesterday?
Oh yeah,
Wet Dave.
Yeah,
Wet
that's-
Dave.
That's what Higgins calls
That's
it.
what I call it. Because
I like
he's
it.
because he's wet.
And so are you when you watch him.
Yeah,
Ooh,
yeah, of course.
There's nothing wrong with that.
dear.
So you've seen all those. Have you seen Shazam?
I haven't rewatched that one yet. That one's on my list.
I think that might be my favorite of these post Nolan trilogy.
Yeah.
Just because I think I like DC characters a lot more than I like Marvel. I know a lot more about them, and read a lot more comics with them, and so I think with Shazam that was Wonder Woman, the first one, pretty good too. But I think that's a good example of capturing. That's what people like about that specific character.
Yeah.
Shazam's silly and dumb and ridiculous, but that's that character, and I think they really just kind of go for it. And it's not perfect, but I think it's a lot of fun.
So I want to tangent right here for just a minute. Would you want them to try and continue this Snyderverse that they've done up until this point, or do you think and do you want them to kind of veer off and do their own thing? Because the Batman with Robert Pattinson seems like right now it might be its own thing, but then they're doing a Flash movie that looks like it's going to be this big Flashpoint crossover with Ben Affleck's Batman and then
Michael Keaton's
apparently. Batman. Yeah.
Higgins, I'll let you take lead on this first just because you're more of a casual fan.
Man, okay, so I could honestly care less about a connected universe when it comes to movies, because I think it makes people have to try too hard to fit things together, when if they just made this movie, they'd be all right, let's just make this one movie good. We'll tell a story, we're in, we're out, and then you're done. And because that's what comics do. This comic happened 20 years before this one, but they don't care that this Batman did this thing that other Batman wouldn't do. So why this movie's got to be like that?
Yeah. See, I'm of two minds about it, just overall, because the fun of, especially because we've seen it done right, with Marvel, getting to see that payoff of having all those characters come together, that should be something really enjoyable, and especially if you've watched all their other movies. I think it's the one thing that they really messed up on when this whole cinematic universe is they rushed into it because they didn't want to. I guess they didn't want to see they were copying Marvel by doing origin stories and then the Justice League, but also they wanted to catch up and cash in. I think they could have maybe done that, but they didn't have someone who they didn't have say a Kevin Feige who has an overall vision and can kind of piece it together like you were mentioning. I think if you got someone who's good at piecing it together, it doesn't feel like, oh, this movie's just a setup for this movie, which Marvel's guilty of too, but it just feels like one story. I think that's why Endgame, resonated with so many people when it came out, because it's a payoff.
Yeah, that's what I like that part, because that guy, he was man, this blue stone that I saw in the first Thor movie happened to be the blue stone that fit in that glove that we watched in the last couple movies. And you're man, they actually did put two thoughts together before they just made a thing. And then Justice League, we got to watch what's the villain's name? Some guy, Steppenwolf. And
Steppenwolf, yeah.
Who's Steppenwolf?
Darkseid's uncle?
Well,
Man, that
I
song,
know who he
Magic
is,
Car-
but
Got a
Magic
big
Carpet
dumb
Ride, Born
helmet.
to Be
Maybe you
Wild.
remember.
yeah.
It's going to take you on a magic carpet ride.
Yeah, I don't care what anyone says. I've seen the trailers. Steppenwolf still looks awful. I know he's got a different helmet and a different armor or whatever. He looks terrible. But what are you gonna do? To kind of come back to your question though, Parker, the way it's gone so far, I'm actually more on board with separating it. I think I'm looking forward to the Batman more than I probably would have a Ben Affleck Batman. Not because Ben Affleck's gone, but I think that you can focus on these characters and getting them right instead of just how do we get all of them together and, you know, make people like this. I think that's the way you do it. And then I also think going forward, they are going to go back to a universe, but they're going to cherry pick whatever works financially. So like Shazam did well. I think they'll keep Shazam. Maybe Wonder Woman falls off, they drop her, but then the new Batman's popular, so let's get the new Batman. Until they have about like 6 or 7 people, and then they do it again.
And I'll like try and make coherent sense.
Yeah.
I think I want them to continue more so. I like the movies okay, but it's more so of like a morbid curiosity of if they can right the ship and how the heck they would possibly right the ship and make it all make sense. Mm-hmm. I think that would be very interesting. I haven't seen Aquaman yet. I don't know how that ties in, but I like that little Jason Momoa fella.
So, having watched it a second time now, I think I can say that I think of all of them, I think Wonder Woman did the best job of telling a story you wanted to watch. And Aquaman did the best job of showing a story you wanted to watch.
Yeah, because honestly, Aquaman's boring, but they made that look. They made those sea people look pretty cool.
The story is very bland, at least from my ignorant, casual perspective. But the cinematography and the action was incredible. I loved watching that a second time.
That's got me excited. I haven't seen Shazam yet either, so that's a new one.
That was snazzy.
Mm-hmm. I think what's like working.
You keep saying Shazam. You keep saying Shazam, and I just think of that Shaq movie from the '90s where he plays the genie in the boombox. Kazam.
Oh yeah,
Forgot
I
about
remember
Kazam.
that one.
You think they can make a Kazam movie and fold it into the DC stuff?
I want to see like a Kazam 2, like where.
Electric Boogaloo.
We got a new Space Jam
Yes.
coming. Anything's possible.
Well, that's what I was saying. Like Space Jam 2, we have LeBron James. Who's Shaq's LeBron James? Because I don't know. Who's the big? Maybe an Anthony Davis
The Rock
movie
Johnson?
where he is a genie that comes out of an iPod or something like that.
A Zune.
Yeah, Zune.
I was thinking of Zune.
I had one of those.
That would be
me
something
too.
you would have.
Yeah, most
There's
definitely.
literally 2 of us.
Anyway, I'm excited what they'll do with the Flash movie. It's either going to be a glorious train wreck or kind of cool.
Or it'll never get made because it's been pushed back like 8 years.
That's also possible.
I wanted to get pushed back long enough for them to realize they don't need Ezra Miller.
I don't know. I need to see this Justice League again to know how I feel about Ezra Miller because I did not care for him the first time through, and I don't know. I don't know if seeing it or the Snyder cut will change my opinion or not.
He apparently has more to do. I know, like the biggest thing from this new version that's going to blow people's minds is the cyborg stuff because that actor has burned all his bridges.
I've seen a lot of what he
Yeah.
said. Ray Fisher.
But apparently, a lot of what he said has been true, and he got dogged pretty hard on that movie because him and Zack Snyder, when they were filming together, put a lot into that character, and he maybe has like 10 lines in that first version we see. So, and I've never really liked Cyborg as part of Justice League. I think he works better as a Teen Titan, but that might just be a nostalgia thing. But I do like that actor. I think he did do good with what he had. So maybe that's one thing I'm looking forward to is seeing kind of what they do with him.
Interesting.
So as a casual perspective, I really, really liked, is it Ezra Miller? The Flash?
Yeah.
That's right. I really liked his presence as a character. Some of which is probably just because I enjoy the like comedic goofiness of Flash in general. But I really wanted to see more of him. And I think there's a whole story arc, backstory-esque that we're supposed to get in the Snyder Cut, right?
So you've seen Batman vs. Superman? Yeah. So you know that one part where he just comes from a weird time portal and he's like, Lois is the key. Go find Lois.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be more of that like nightmare future Superman stuff.
Gotcha.
I don't really know where that's kind of supposed to go. Another thing I'm wondering about this new version is the original plan back in the day was to film Justice League and Justice League 2. and I'm assuming that they only really filmed Zack Snyder's first Justice League, so I don't know if this may end on a cliffhanger, and it may be a thing where they're not going to give him a Justice League 2.
We just never see part 2.
We just never see part 2 until like the internet gets mad enough again where Warner Brothers caves, because that's how we got this. I mean, people on the internet cried for about a year and a half, and now we have this coming. So.
All the early, I've tried not to see much about it, but I've seen some reviews, and everything I've seen is like it should not work as nearly as much as it does.
I have heard that, yeah, because
Which gives me
I've
hope.
checked some stuff. Yeah, I'm sure it will be better than what we've seen, just based on the fact that that first cut is two very different people trying to smush their vision together, and this is just one singular idea. So I think it will pay off for people in that respect.
Nice. Higgins, catch us up. What you been up to there, Skipper?
Man, I've been working, and I went up to Atlanta last weekend. Hung out in Piedmont Park. Caught some sun.
Hey.
Ate some pizza. My friends have pizza ovens, and so I was hanging out at a pizza off. They all there's 2 of them, and they both cooked 5 10 to 12 inch pizzas, and that was pretty neat. I ate a slice of each. They were all delicious.
Did someone win? Would you have given an award?
We deliberated, and we said the real winners was the pizza we had along the way.
That's nice.
It's a real cop-out answer, but I like it.
Yeah, basically the only reason it was a competition in the first place was so they would make more pizzas.
So in a way, you were the winner.
Yeah, no, we were ultimately the winner. Everybody that didn't cook a pizza was more a winner than the people that made the pizza, for sure.
Good on you, man. Good on you.
It was a good time.
Nice.
Well, now that you're here, like, and it's just us guys, who made the better pizza?
Just us guys and the rest of the world on the internet.
Yeah, the rest of the world on the internet. So I'm sorry, Nahit, but Santiago won the pizza off.
Santiago.
You heard it here first.
Yep.
I hope they didn't listen. I told them about our podcast, so they might actually hear this.
Santiago.
We'll cut this part out.
I want them.
Just this one section.
I want them to know.
You can have a separate file you send just to Santi, or no, who lost Nahit, you said?
Yeah, Nahit lost.
So we'll cut that part out and send that file to Nahit.
Okay,
Since we're
the cut
editing
part.
the episode,
Yeah.
we'll definitely cut this.
We don't want to ruin your friendships.
Yeah.
Might keep you from getting more pizza.
Newly formed friendships. It might make them work harder next time, though.
Oh, that's a
too.
good point, yeah.
This week's Local Catch is brought to you by Grizzly Madams. Grizzly Madams is an Atlanta-based rock band consisting of Zach Johnston, Alec Furness, and Ryan Lockoff. Formed in late 2019, the trio has been chipping away and crafting a variety of... It's the Takis. They're really getting to me. They're making my mouth water so much. Coming from different backgrounds and influences has yielded a diverse sound, with each song taking different shapes, yet still uniquely Grizzly Madams. Some of these influences range from the Pixies, the Beths, Weezer, and Dinosaur Jr. Grizzly Madams recently released their new song, This Hangover's Going to Kill Me, on February 12th on all major platforms, a softer track in comparison to Shark Killer. Grizzly Madams found themselves crafting a new sonic space with phased guitars, twangy leads, and mellotron with poignant lyrics, contemplating the meaning of life. Grizzly Madams has their eye on the prize for 2021 with their next release, Broken Timepiece, coming out on Friday, March 19th. So here is This Hangover's Going to Kill Me by Grizzly Madams.
Sick and hungover again. Think about throwing up. Someone bring me cherry coke. This hangover's gonna kill me. Should never party with me. Someone bring me the someone would tell me one damn thing about life. Don't have a God, I don't know. I'm alone in this and I sail away. I sail away. And I sail
That was This Hangover's Going to Kill Me by Grizzly Madams. Nice, chill little track. I liked it.
Yeah, I liked the sounds. It's amazing they did that on a Peloton, you said?
I
think it was- Or is that the bike thing?
I'm pretty sure it's a bike.
Okay. It was some
So
instrument.
it's even
that
more
sound-
amazing that they managed to record all that on a bike.
Derek, sorry, I didn't know how to route. Yeah, I don't know how to route from iTunes where it was playing to Discord, so it might be something I can get figured out.
It's fine. I just supported a local band and bought their song off iTunes and listened to it myself.
Oh, nice. That was sweet of you.
Good bluesy track. I like it.
Yeah, bluesy. That's a good way to describe it.
I noticed on the album art for the single they have some cans of Sweetwater 420.
Yes.
Celebrate it.
That's something I can appreciate.
Mm-hmm.
Well done.
Yep. I think I'm also going to take a pee break, and then we will get into the meat of the potatoes.
Be right back.
The meat of
You ever had that potato meat?
I got real excited when I found out that the shift button, when you hold it and hit like enter, it'll go up instead of down.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That was pretty exciting for me.
Was it another one that's good is if you're in Excel and you hold down Alt and hit Enter, it'll go an indent instead of going to the next cell.
Man,
What?
that's
What?
pretty exciting.
My favorite, my by far favorite one on all Microsoft-based applications is that if you hold Alt, it won't click to stuff. You can free float place items, pixel by pixel, wherever you want. Just hold Alt.
That's a game changer.
Man.
Yep.
And meanwhile, the person we hired doesn't know how to do Excel at all, so I still got to type in all the numbers.
Oh,
Is that person you?
No, I'm the person that knows how to use
Oh,
it.
okay.
no, yeah. I think I've done some dumb stuff with Excel that I probably shouldn't have done. I made like a basically a calculator for production. So I did a bunch of linear regression for the different components of the machine and then put it all together and made a calculator that predicts how long it'll take the machine to make it. And then and I did it using like 3 inputs and a button that says calculate.
Huh.
And then I did one where I was tired of individually translating all the file names. So I just made an Excel thing that would grab all the file names from a folder.
Man, that's more than I know how to do.
I don't know how to do any of this. This is all Google.
You're saying all these words right now, and I'm just staring, impressed that your shirt is an Under Armour branded company shirt.
I was looking at you, and I didn't see what your shirt said or looked like, but I was looking at it. It's green.
I wasn't sure if you were talking to me or Parker.
Well, they're both.
I'm still
both-
not.
Still both green.
It's really good for an audio medium.
Yeah, still both green. Well,
Everybody good? Derek, you still good on your side? Got audios and everything?
you can hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you guys. Why
Oh,
did
man.
Susie fall off the swing?
I don't know. Why did Susie fall off the screen?
Because Rachel pushed
Because
her,
she had no
that bitch.
arms.
What?
Because she had no arms.
Oh, jeez.
That's pretty.
Hey, knock knock.
Who's there?
Not Susie.
Oh, jeez. Gentlemen, I'll let you drive from now on. This is now your vehicle.
Snoop mostly drives, but
Drunk, but
yeah. Well, I mean, that's
mostly stay on the road.
yeah.
No, we could do that. All right. So let me. I guess I can do the intro to the
Yeah, we
thing
can say
normally
it.
do.
Yeah,
Since-
do it how you would
since
normally
we're-
do it.
Yeah,
I want the
I'll-
full experience.
Okay, cool.
Since
cool.
we're
That's the
starting
first time
our-
anyone's ever asked us for the full experience, so this is great. All right.
Just so you know, you just
I
did
love
our intro.
I
just
love
then.
things that are full, and I love things that are experiences.
Higgins, we've got at least one of those for him, don't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Experiences?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Welcome everyone to Comrades, Cocktails, and Comics, the show where I, Snoop Lynch, and my co-host Higgins Sturm.
Hey, that's me.
That's you, but shut up because we got guests on the show.
Yeah,
It's been
get
a
out of
minute.
here.
It's been a minute, hasn't it, since we've had guests?
Yeah, it's been a minute.
Mhm.
Some might say we're even guests in their dojo.
We are in Parker's house,
Yeah.
so yeah. But instead, let's say words about the book that we all read and that we're going to talk about this month.
It's a good thing we told them about it.
Yeah, so they could also read it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Now, will you tell the people listening about it?
Oh man, sure. We already told you about the drink.
Yeah.
And so the book that we read, we're doing a crossover episode. We were like, what would be a cool crossover book? I said one thing, and then they were like, no, that's a terrible idea. Let's do our thing. And then which we chose Batman versus Predator. Turns out they were right. Per usual.
Yeah. So, Batman versus Predator. This is
The first volume.
the first volume. There's been three.
by Dave Gibbons
Mhm.
and Andy and Adam Kubert. Turns out they're brothers or sisters or
Or sons
yeah,
of another man who's
Yeah.
probably their dad. Yeah.
still brothers.
Adam did inks, Andy did art, or vice versa. I can't remember off the top of my head, but Dave
Not-
Gibbons.
not important.
You're right. But Dave Gibbons is important because he wrote this book. But
Oh,
you know
yeah.
what? Also, he did.
No, I had no idea.
He did the art on a little book called Watchmen.
Okay, so I did read that, but I forgot I read it.
Yeah. I've never. I've.
Wait, was I supposed to read Watchmen?
No,
No.
you're
Okay,
fine.
oh,
Did
shit.
you read
Okay,
the book
good.
that we mentioned a second ago?
Yeah,
then?
yeah.
Okay, you're doing great. You're much better than we usually do when we
If I
do this.
read part of Watchmen, does that count?
I think
You're doing just as good as I am.
there's part of the art in there. So yeah, I think you're doing
Awesome.
fantastic. But yeah, this was written back in 91. So
92.
91, 92. Older than us, actually.
Fuck.
And it was a crossover book published by DC, who owns Batman.
And Dark Horse.
Dark Horse, who up until recently owned Predator. Now Marvel owns it because Disney bought Fox, and Fox owns things, and Disney owns everything. But before they owned everything, they would
Except our
do...
podcast.
Not yet.
I won't let them.
But before they owned all those things, they used to do a bunch of these little crossover books. There's been different ones over the years, like Archie meets the Punisher, Archie meets the Predator, actually. But we wanted to do Batman versus Predator.
People like Batman.
People like Batman, people like the Predator. Did you like this book? I'm asking everyone.
Yeah, I thought it was neat.
I also give this 2 grunts of approval.
To be honest, this is, I think, I have owned comic books before, but this is the literal first comic book I've actually sat down and read. I liked it.
Man, so have I got something for you? They've made lots of them.
You're telling me there's more comic books out
There's more comic books out
Oh
there.
Lord.
This may be the first one, but it's definitely not the last. They even have 2 more volumes of this written by other people.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, Dave Gibbons didn't return, but that's a different story for a different day.
Yeah.
I think everyone said their opinions except
Derek.
Derek. Thank you.
What? Oh, I mean, yeah. I honestly, I've never really been a comic book reader myself. I did find it actually rather enjoyable. I really don't know much of the lore with Batman or Predator, to be honest with you. But it seemed like it was very interesting. I kind of caught some things from what I know, but I really don't know much about either of the two things to actually go into an in-depth conversation personally about it. But I'd love to hear what everybody else has to say about it.
All right,
kinda
so I'll give you the 2 main things. Batman's superpower is he's rich, and his parents got killed. And
Yeah, I know that. I've seen Dark Knight.
And,
I've seen the Dark Knight trilogy, and I've seen Alien versus Predator, so I have some sort of knowledge about these.
yeah, and Predator's superpower is it was a cheesy movie in the 80s where they really liked
Get to the chopper!
the thermo vision thing, and he's invisible too.
Yeah,
And he's a predator.
He's got that fancy shoulder gun with like the 3 lasers on it or whatever.
And you think that his head's actually his head, but turns out it's the helmet that to cover a face that's a lot less cool looking.
Except for the
Right,
dreads. The dreads are actually his.
Oh, okay.
because
Because
as,
he got
as
it
I was
on it.
Yeah.
as I was reading this, like I said, I've only really watched the Dark Knight trilogy and a couple of the '90s Batman films, and I'm sitting there reading it, and I'm reading the dialogue of Batman and Alfred as Christian Bale and Michael Caine, just in my head.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like, I saw a child playing with the ruby the size of a tangerine.
Michael Caine. I was definitely, since I had just played the Arkham trilogy, I was definitely had that Alfred stuck in my head every time I was reading Alfred Bubbles. It was definitely the Alfred from Arkham.
I mean, kind of you guys are already touching on it. I think for me with this book, I didn't love it. I will say that, but there is plenty to enjoy about it, and reading it kind of putting characters' voices in my head. This book seems to rely a lot on nostalgia for me.
Mm-hmm.
I got a lot of, and I mean, it was written in the 90s, but I got a lot of 90s Batman, animated vibes from it.
Mm-hmm.
Alfred pretty much looks the same from what I can tell. Batman looks a little different. He's got the blue Batman costume, which I'm a big fan of. You don't get to see that.
yeah.
Predator is kind of the same thing. Like the stuff about the Predator, I've seen, I guess, all of the movies, and it kind of just hits all those beats from that first movie, like why people like that. It's got the thermal vision. It's got he does that thing where he tricks people he's invisible. He plays recordings of people to trick them into
changes their voice, uses their voice.
And brutal murders. And
Oh yeah, brutal murders are pretty good. He did a lot of those in this.
Mm-hmm.
I was pretty pumped that he did that.
Kill people?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I like that they didn't kind of kidify it because it's a Batman story, I guess through and through, since it isn't Gotham and everything. But they didn't shy away from murdering. I, for the life of me, could not figure out anything going on in the action scenes in this book.
God. Yeah.
Having not read a comic before, like the action panels was so much stimulus for me to try to interpret of what was happening.
So, on that note, I read this all the way through and then went back and looked at the full pages because I've been reading it on Kindle ebooks.
Mm-hmm.
And they have this nifty little feature with comic books specifically where they will let you toggle through panel by panel in the order it was intended to be read.
That's how I did it. Yep.
Same, yeah.
So I feel like on some things, it almost kind of doing it that way made it more consumable, but at the same time kind of cheapened it because you didn't get that turn the page. Oh, look at that.
For most things, that's like the best way to go about it, because like a lot of the time you'll be reading through a thing and be like, man, I think I'm reading the next thing that's supposed to be read, but you won't be sure.
Okay.
But for this one, like, yeah, it's actiony, so you're like, man, I guess it would be good to see him like in order. But like we were all saying, it's kind of a shit show. I read most of the things and I was like, I know there's action, I'll wait till the end to see who won.
It is a lot of like, okay, I know someone's dead because there's blood everywhere in these
Yeah.
panels, but who died? At one point, they're like, I think it was like issue 2 or 3. They're talking about the upset in the crime, system or underworld, because it's like, oh no, this guy got killed. I'm like, oh, that's who died.
That's the crime lord died.
Yeah.
And then the other crime lord died.
I like how funny the last like couple murders were, especially the one who's just a mama's boy.
Yeah. No, I like that crime lord. They all three were competing crime lords, I think, right?
Sort of.
Sort of. And one was a mayor.
Was it two of them were like competing with, and they realized that they weren't competing or something?
They were competing through legitimate means, which is illegal gambling on boxing matches. And there was a middleman who was just there to keep the peace, but also
Okay.
do his own thing. The mob stuff was just kind of, I flicked through it to get to the next stuff with Batman, because it just seemed to move the plot. This is the only thing I've read that Dave Gibbons has written. I don't know if he's written a lot of stuff. I don't think it's great. I don't think it's the worst I've ever read, but dialogue was a little just kind of whatever.
I just think it's like the Batman stuff that people don't really think about, where like Batman's like an actual dude that's like, oh, he actually just fights like base level crime in Gotham. And up until like a alien predator comes and kills a bunch of people, and he has to do some detectiving to figure it out.
That's probably the best part about this for me is
He does some
seeing
dang
him-
good detectiving.
He does some good detectiving, but I like the arc it kind of goes through of he gets his ass kicked and then he has to like pull himself back up because he's the only one who can take on this homicidal alien.
Yeah, and Alfred gets his time to shine. He's like, can't let Bruce Wayne see this, because he'll try to fight him when he's in a literal body cast.
Yeah.
And then he shoots him with a blunderbuss, which was kind of cool.
What? So I may just be an actual moron, but what is there like in-universe explanation of why they cross over, or is it just like, no, he's here?
It's a company thing. Like I said, Dark Horse owned a lot of like Predator, Alien. They kind of started from my knowledge anyway. They kind of kicked off this weird craze in the 80s and 90s of weird crossover comics, and I don't know kind of DC state at the time, but I know like with Marvel in the 90s, like they were going bankrupt every other year, so it was just anything to move product. I like that it's a dumb, just kind of one-off thing. I don't.
So there's no like continuity with any other Batman.
No, it's just kind of a like this is probably set around like how the city was in the 90s Batman continuity as far as like the characters that are involved and kind of what Batman's suit looks like and his state, but it's a separate story. I think the only kind of thing it's tied in with is the sequel comics, which I didn't read, but
Yeah.
I might get back to him later. From what I've heard, this is the better of the three. It has some really good moments for me.
I've heard it's the better of most of the crossover deals they did back in the day, too.
Yeah.
So we picked the right one.
Nice.
That's good. I have a question as a very casual person. This was the first Batman comic I ever read.
Oh,
Man.
wow. Congrats. And thank you for sharing it with us.
I enjoyed it. It was very good. My question is Commissioner Gordon a douche in all Batman comics?
Okay, so he's the least douche out of all the other cops, but at the end of the day, like, he's gonna do what he does. He's usually a pretty good guy.
It was just I wasn't prepared for how juxtaposed.
Wasn't no
him
Gary
and-
Oldman.
Him and Batman. Yeah, like it's not what I'm used to seeing from generic, casual Batman films and DC animated films.
Yeah, I kind of prefer this version of Commissioner Gordon where he's just over everything because he lives in the worst city known to man, and he's constantly being attacked by murderers in clown makeup and man bats, and he's just like, I'm sick of everything going on right now.
I just want a day off.
There is, if you want to kind of know a little bit more about this character, Higgins and I have covered this book on another podcast we did.
Yeah, call back.
Yeah, Batman Year One. It's kind of like, it's, if you were going to hand someone a Batman comic just to give them the idea of that character, that's the comic you go to. It's Batman's first year, but also goes back and forth with Commissioner Gordon and how he kind of becomes commissioner and why he hates everything to do with this city, but for whatever reason won't leave.
It's like the Dark Knight. You're getting basically the same thing. He hasn't gotten jaded by stuff in the Dark Knight yet because Batman started in the first one, and basically like they haven't had to deal with like super baddies in the town until Batman starts coming along.
Gotcha. So like 10 years after the Dark Knight, he's like, I'm done.
Yeah. Okay. He just hasn't become jaded yet.
Yeah. I think you kind of see it in their interactions between Batman and Jim Gordon in this story. Their dynamic is interesting because I feel like deep down he does like Batman and respect him, but he also knows Batman's kind of part of the problem because a lot of villains, like before Batman shows up, mobsters were really the only thing ruining Gotham City. As soon as he shows up in the next year, there's like weird science experiments gone wrong and someone who can control plants.
His
trying
entire
to murder
rogues
everybody.
gallery.
Yeah, and so I think he doesn't want to have to count on Batman, but he knows that he has to.
And we saw that in this book too. He's like, man, everybody's dead now. Batman's literally the only one that can stop him. So I guess Batman needs to stop him. He's like, get off your ass, Batman. Wherever you're at, you've been gone for too long.
The first thing that stuck out to me, it was very close to the beginning. I just want to call out how much of a dickhead that dude living in the trailer park was. Who would throw their poor pooch out just because they were barking a little bit? I was so upset. And what kind of psycho names it Satan?
I was gonna, yeah.
I gotta say, like, the two things that really like upset me with this entire comic was the fact that a dog and a cat both died in this comic. I was like,
Animal deaths do hit me pretty hard.
man, that just
Yeah,
He just wanted to watch. He just wanted to watch that old boxing fight, and it sounded like Satan normally doesn't bark.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, when a predator out there,
I would want my dog
yeah.
to bark. Alert me.
It's like, man, dog doesn't normally bark, so something must be up.
Mm-hmm.
Not just he's just barking now.
Yeah, the answer is not to throw that poor poochie outside.
Yeah.
Now dog doesn't.
I guess
bark
we don't
suddenly.
know. I guess did
Now
we
dog
see
doesn't bark
dog
forever.
bones in
That
the
dog-
trailer?
That dog's definitely dead.
Man,
Because I'm pretty sure when he opens the trailer door, he just throws the carcass of the
Oh,
dog.
okay.
But
why does every bad thing start in a junkyard?
That's a good question.
Like,
I don't know.
this comic starts in a junkyard. That 13 Ghost movie starts in a junkyard. Like,
Walter White becomes Heisenberg in a junkyard.
well, yup. Like,
my
dude,
16th birthday was in a junkyard. That turned out all right.
What did that start?
got married in a junkyard.
I kind of talking about the dog and the cat thing. I'm not really happy with the Predator in this, like, because they kind of mention he has this code of honor, and sometimes he does. Other times he'll just murder everybody.
I will say that they kind of say like what's it when he's killing somebody that he doesn't think is a good prey, like a respectable fighter, he just shoots him. But if he's like fighting him as like, man, ultimate fight, he like brings out his little claws and shoulder lasers.
It kind of seemed like to me where his code of ethics applied proportionally to whether or not it was a tertiary character to the plot.
Yeah. I mean, he didn't kill that one gal.
That's true.
The one up in the penthouse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She
yeah.
seemed
Yeah.
very concerned for about 8 seconds.
And they took
I'll
her
tell
out.
you-
They're like, she's probably going to be out of the picture for a long time. And then soon, sure enough, she was out of the picture for the rest of the book. It's like, good. I didn't need her anyways. I didn't even need
Hey,
her.
this.
I didn't even need her bow.
I'll tell you this, man. Like during the penthouse scene when Commissioner Gordon got attacked, he got out of there pretty quickly. It was like, all right, he's falling down the stairs, and the next frame he's off in his car.
I thought it was interesting kind of how the Predator chose who to go for next. Like that does fall in line with kind of what I think of when I think the Predator. He wants kind of a worthy fight. That's why he goes after the boxers first, because I guess he just lands in Gotham City, and so he's looking for, who's the best person to fight, and he hears them about it on the radio, and he kills the winner almost immediately after he wins that match. And he'll pick off he picks off other fighters, but then after he's kind of done that, he goes after people with like a different kind of power. Like he kills the mayor, so the biggest political figure in the town, as I guess a means to also get Batman back out, because he knows he's the real prey that he needs to beat.
Yeah, I think he just killed the mayor because the mayor called him out. He was like, "Alien, we're coming for you," and then he's like, "Oh, he must be the guy that calls the shots, so I should take him out."
Yeah.
And then, man, he has a big no problem with just like brutally murdering people, but he won't finish the phrase "son of a bitch."
Well, I think he can't, because he's just playing back recordings of people he's murdered.
Yeah.
So if he let that guy say "son of a bitch," he
Oh,
probably
you're
would
right.
play that.
You're
So,
right.
I definitely didn't pick up on that. Is that all
I
of
love
his
how-
dialogue is recordings of other people
Anything
screaming?
that's English, yeah, that's kind of his thing. I think they do that in the original Predator movie.
Oh, there's like the clicks and like.
Yeah. I will say it's not like 100% clear. And I think that's, like I said, a lot of this book, if you do if something jumps out to you, it's anything that's related to nostalgia.
Oh yeah, it assumes you know these characters. If it's like if you're reading a Batman and a Predator book together, you probably know who and what these guys are about.
Yeah.
Little do they know.
Little do they know.
And I mean, it is good writing in a sense that, you guys have either not read any Batman comics or don't, know a ton about Batman or even the Predator, but you know what's happening in the story. You're not like lost in, okay, what is this they're referencing? Who is this character they're not mentioning by name? I should just know who this is. Like, there's none of that in this, and I think
Why is
that's
that weird cookie cutter in the sky?
Why is there one?
Yeah, the bat symbol.
Oh, the bat symbol.
We talked about how hard it was to see stuff moving around and whatnot in the fight scenes, and I think that comes down to how bad art was back in the day. We talk about it every time we read old books. It just was bad art back then for the most part.
I see, for me,
They're
because
bad at
I was
colors.
looking at that, and I think in this particular case, it's an issue of paneling. I think that the way they framed a lot of this art, it's so up close. Like, you see a lot of close-ups on people's faces when they're getting murdered that you can't really make out anything else. I think if they're like, some of the best images from this comic are the big splash pages. My favorite is when he puts on the sonar suit.
Oh man, the end of the second issue.
Yeah, and like I
That
said,
was pretty tight.
That's just one like grand image. Anything that's like full body Batman or full body Predator looks good.
He blind, right? That's why he put it on. He couldn't see that good.
Yeah, he got hit in the head real hard.
Yeah. It was nice seeing Batman be like, it's like he's just a regular
Wait,
dude.
go. Oh shit.
Yeah. That can be that picture we used to promote it, so people know what we're talking about.
Yeah, good image.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a strong image.
I forgot to do it last time we made a podcast, so it'll be good to let people know we made a couple.
Hey, because you got 2 jobs. You give me a description for the episode that people don't read, and then you put a promo image up.
that people might
that people don't look at.
That people don't look at. Exactly.
Yeah, I usually get 40 to 50 likes on something, so that's pretty good.
It's very good. It's because you tagged me in it, probably.
Yeah.
It's more likes than I have friends.
Oh, I just realized something.
What's up?
You said sonar suit because he can't see because he's a bat. Bats can't see.
Yeah. Well, bats can see.
But he can't.
Not very well.
I'm no scientist, but apparently bats just can't see in the dark.
And bats can actually see better than humans.
Yeah, they just can't
Okay,
see
well
in the
then there
dark.
goes my theory. I'm sorry, I'm out.
No, I think that's
But
kind of what they
no,
were going
blind as
for
a
as
bat.
well.
But
Yeah.
no, people
I got so excited. I was like, oh, well, that yeah. Shut
people
down, shut
think bats can't see, so they're definitely rolling with it.
The misnomer, like blind as a bat. Ain't,
Yeah, yeah.
That ain't real. That's dumb.
Yeah, and pigs aren't stinky.
They real clean.
They just roll in
They
stinky
taste good,
stuff.
though.
Yeah, I was going to say they taste real good though,
Yeah.
and they're
Very
smart.
calm.
They're like a dog,
Yeah.
but they also taste real good.
Yeah.
Dogs may taste good too. I don't know. I've never had a
Yeah,
dog.
I'm sure
Stella?
if we made them right,
How do you taste?
Look at them little chicken legs.
that'd be enough.
So you were talking about the art and the paneling. The only thing that I found really hard to track was it was like all of the panels that had to do with Predator, like jumping off something or like swinging from a vine or whatever he was doing, and it always had like half of his profile, and it was like a weird texture. I'll see if I can find an example.
I think I know what you're kind of
Couldn't
talking
make out,
about.
like whether or not he was coming or going, or
Yeah, and I know there's images of him that's kind of like half invisible, half not, which is a little out there.
that was a little wonky. Yeah.
I was kind of wondering if that was maybe just an artistic design they were going with, like in the movie, in the Predator movie and stuff like Predator, you don't really see him all that much, and if you do, it's just like a quick glance.
Yeah.
I wonder if they were just like, well, you're not going to see the Predator running around. You might like catch a brief glimpse of him. It doesn't work that well for a comic, but that could make sense.
No,
I might be giving them more credit than they deserve.
It's possible, yeah. Well, normally we take credit away from people, so this is nice. No, I kind of get what you're saying though, and it does make a lot of sense if they did intentionally do it that way, because most of this story is the Gotham News or Gotham PD not knowing what this thing is. We obviously know what it is because we know what the Predator is.
Yeah, we read the title.
But I mean, exactly. We read the title. We used our brains and read. Yeah. But like even Batman for the longest time has no idea what's doing this because he's pretty sure it's not an attack. Like when that first boxer gets killed, he's pretty sure it's not an attack from the rival mob. But even then, he's not 100% sure until he gets, more information.
And he probably just hasn't got around to seeing the movie yet. He is like, I don't know about this Arnold Schwarzenegger guy yet. Like, I ain't really buying into his flicks yet. And he's like, he sees the Predator and he's like, man, maybe I should see it for that guy.
It's like,
Like, turns out I do like that crazy alien actor guy that was in this movie.
maybe I should take a break from building this sonar armor and go watch some movies.
Yeah,
Anything with Carl Weathers in it? Why not?
Yeah.
that's true. Carl Weathers is in that movie. That's where we get that one meme from.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the one where they're like two arms, black and white, and they're like, they have words on the muscles. And the
Oh,
thing that
yeah.
brings them together in the middle.
Higgins, we know memes.
Yeah.
Come on.
Memes or dreams?
But that's Arnold. That's Arnold and Carl.
I actually don't
Just
think
grabbing
I've seen
hands.
that meme. What,
Really?
What do I Google?
You would recognize it.
I don't think you'll find it on Google. Try Bing.
Oh. Bing deserves a special place in hell.
A strong arms meme, maybe.
Yeah.
I'm sure that would grab it.
Yeah. There's like lightning in the background.
Mm-hmm.
Nope.
Meme.
I mean, oh,
Mimim
You almost-
backslash.
that one.
Yeah, so
Top
that
left,
first one right
yeah.
there.
Okay.
Yeah. So see, like
Oh,
they got
God.
they got
Okay,
words on
okay.
them.
Yep. Nope. Google is a scary place.
Can we just like look at that Kim Kardashian one for a second? Because that just scared the shit out of me.
Are you talking about the one where it says Bill Clinton and Fortnite streamers and not having sexual relations with a woman?
No, I'm talking about the image of Kim Kardashian with like anchor arms.
I'm glad you called attention to that, though.
No. The second
That should
image
be
of
the-
Kim Kardashian with the anchor arms from SpongeBob.
That is
Ugh.
pretty good.
Higgins, that meme should be the promo picture.
Yes. Yeah. You're probably less likely to get a copyright strike.
That's good stuff.
Being afraid of fireworks.
It's a good one. So, it's called Epic Handshake
Epic handshake.
Epic handshake. Okay.
for all you listeners out there.
Is that something they actually do in the movie? I
Oh
don't-
yeah, that's like a
That's how they grade each other.
Okay. I
That's-
couldn't remember.
That's like
It's like the most 80s scene that's ever
Straight
been in
up.
a movie.
God, that's the most 80s movie to
Oh.
ever 80s movie too though. Oh no, we lost Harley to internet memes now.
I'm gone forever.
Me either.
Oh, look at Morty. This is left hand though. Is he left-handed?
He must be.
like when Quagmire discovered porn on Family Guy.
I don't like that chicken. That looks scary.
Oh man, that's funny.
Adam, you can
like
cut
fake.
this out.
Fake arms you put on a chicken.
If you're listening, just Google strong arms meme.
And just go
May-
down that
maybe-
hole.
Maybe misspell some stuff because it's me typing, and then you'll see exactly what we're looking at.
But yeah, I think we kind of nailed all the points that I wanted to hit on this guy.
Well, as long as you're happy.
Yeah, what do you guys think? Do you have anything else you want to talk about before we say our rating?
Oh shit! I don't even know how we rate it.
that was-
There's
doing
no
that.
there's
Well, do
no
you guys-
actual rating system.
Okay,
Yeah, Higgins, you're
perfect.
overwhelming them, all right? They're
there's a
normally
lot-
on this
a
show.
lot of stimulus happening right
There's
now.
a rhythm. We got to.
I haven't even gotten my one stimulus from Biden yet. I can't handle another stimulus.
Tell me about it.
Yeah,
Present
my
tomorrow.
coworkers got stimulated already. I was so upset. I was like, I'm just ghost stimulated right now because it's sitting in my account just pending,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like,
Got to get that memo post.
yeah. United Bank
Yeah, I
gave
don't,
them that
Yeah,
early
yeah, it's
early
still-
stimulation.
Give me the check so I can
yeah, I don't
see
think
it.
I have anything else to add to it. I don't know.
What about you, Derek?
I mean, nothing really more than what's been said. I mean, I thought this. I mean, it was a pretty good story to me. It's rather quick, because I really don't know much about comic books. I don't really know how long the duration is for comic books. So it seemed I was assuming that it was going to be a lot longer than it was.
This was a shorter one for sure.
Yeah, it really just depends
But,
on
but-
decade more than anything. Because
Yeah.
90s can be
Yeah.
hit or miss. There is a lot of dialogue in this, but it just kind of, I don't know, it just washed over me. It just went by. I agree with Derek. I think it is. It's a fun story. They really do kind of just embrace how ridiculous the premise is, and they kind of have fun with that. Like I said, a lot of
Like-
what the dialogue is just kind of goofy, but I like it. Anything the Predator
was-
kind of says is just really fun. I'm sorry, go ahead.
And there was one part that I noticed that it was just so cheesy to me that I actually just sat there and just kind of giggled at. It was when it was the image of when Predator is standing on top of the building and the caption says Batman has deserted Gotham. He just got his arms out like.
Oh yeah, I do remember
was
that
like-
one.
I was like that. Like that's just so like I don't think that would ever be a thing that the Predator does.
No,
But-
it is stuff that's kind of like out of character, but in a comic especially, it just kind of being over the top like that really works. There's one part where he attacks somebody. I think it may be Jim Gordon, and the voice clip that plays is something like, "The pot roast is done."
Yeah.
It makes no sense, but I really enjoy it.
And another thing, it's like the artwork. It's fantastic artwork, but like, dude, use more than like 3 colored pencils.
Oh yeah, that's old. That's that old comics stuff. Old comics colors. Like for whatever reason, they were like, we got to make everything blue, guys.
But I mean that's just the premise of DC comics, anyways. That it's usually rather dark and mysterious and gloomy. So and it's Gotham City, so it's always going to be that way. But why do people just not don't live in Gotham? Too much crap goes on there. Don't live there.
Rent's probably pretty cheap.
0
Yeah.
out of 10 would not recommend.
It's like if you have someone die in your house, it's cheaper, I think. So like if you had like 20 people die in your house, man, that's got to be a deal.
Can we also appreciate how jacked up Batman got in that first fight, and he's just like laying there in traction in a hospital bed, and then like next thing you know, he's up like building his own R suit.
Yeah, it's like rich people's fixins.
That's the one, Harley.
Because like Magic Johnson had AIDS and he's fine.
Jesus.
Harley, what were you going to say?
I was gonna say the old comics being blue. Does that have anything to do with like screen printing and trying to make things cheaper, using less colors?
It could be. I'm not no expert by any means, but sometimes yes, sometimes no. I think a lot of it has to do with kind of like what paper was it printed on back then. There was one comic we read where I had kind of had an updated version, so the colors were a bit more vibrant, and Higgins had like gross greens and purples, and it was like a cost
It was
thing
on
at
like
the time.
newsprint basically.
Yeah. So
So-
there's definitely like a factor of that more so back in the day than now, because a lot of stuff, especially because of COVID and everything, a lot of it's digital, so you can kind of just make it look whatever you want. And that, like, I do appreciate old artwork.
They use better lines.
As far as being an aficionado, where does reading digital content fall?
I don't care. I'll read it online all day.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's always about the story. Like, I don't know a ton about art, so obviously people who are more into art probably appreciate certain things more. I'm kind of, my level of art appreciation is I know good art and I know bad art when I see it. There's good art in this. Like I said, I just think it's kind of limited to the big stuff. Like, I'm looking at the Predator, just loving life right now on that gargoyle, and I'm loving it too.
Big old cookie cutter in the background.
Yeah, and you kind of have like
Oh,
personal
yeah.
touches and hand drawn art than you would digital art. Because like if you look back there, I mean, other people can't because it's a podcast, but there's a bat symbol in the background, and it's not perfect, but I kind of like that. Like, it's just a little that wing's a little smaller than the other wing, isn't it, Higgins?
Yeah, there's something wishing in the way though.
It's like they tried to go for like a angled kind of
Like one of those things where you take a panorama
to it.
picture and like it,
The one
you s-
girl's head is like neck is just like 10
a
feet
little,
long.
yeah, something like that.
Exactly.
But yeah, do we want to get them to do a review?
Well, Higgins, we just did the review.
No, but like
That was what all of that was.
a rating.
Oh, okay. No, we haven't done that yet. They can do
Do you
that.
want to do a rating?
Yeah, we'll explain to people how the rating system works. Give them an example.
So it's kind of like that one show with Drew Carey where he says the points don't matter. The points don't matter.
Whose line is it, anyways?
Yeah, that one. But yeah, points don't matter. Give it like like a lot of ones I usually just pick something in the book that I like and then kind of make it sound like it's a rating that I wanted to put on it.
Mm-hmm.
Like last time we had a book about Dungeons and Dragons, so I said a D12 out of 20.
Oh, I got a perfect one then.
All right.
Okay.
It's 3 Predator dreadlocks out of 5.
All right. Man, nailed it. Nailed it in one. He did it way faster than we did. Ever do.
He should do our podcast from
He
now
should
on.
do our podcast from now on. Good thing we don't got to do it anymore.
Finally. I'll just leave these mics and go home. Higgins, you want to follow up on that?
Yeah, I don't actually have one yet. So,
So yes, but no.
yes, but no. Someone else can go and I'll think really hard for a little bit.
I'm gonna give it 3 3/4 gargoyle claws out of 5.
Man.
I'm going to give it 2.5 son of O's out of 5.
Oh, yeah.
That was good.
That is pretty good.
So I guess I'll go next, Higgins, because you're clearly still thinking real hard over there.
I'll just come up with something on the fly, even though
yeah.
I've been thinking about it for a long
It's all
time.
those shanties.
It's all those
Mhm.
shanties.
Getting nice and loose.
Sandies.
Uh,
Pecans.
For my rating, I had fun with this. Don't love it. Maybe wouldn't recommend it as like someone's first comic, but for all the other things I said that I liked, I'm going to commit seppuku, just like that Predator did when he lost against Batman, and give it 2 broken bats because that's how he beat the Predator. He just hit him in the head with a bat, which I really enjoyed.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna give it a 7 dead people out of however many he did. I think it was probably about 10. I gave it a 7 out of 10.
Those are some numbers, aren't they?
Those are some numbers, and I thought it was like, kind of a fun ride. I finished it, so I must have liked it a little bit. That's
Sure.
usually how
So,
I. That's usually how I
overall-
know that I like something because I finished it.
Overall average score 5 out of 7 over Rice.
I feel pretty good about that.
Honestly, it might be better than it deserves, but it's what it got.
Yeah, yeah.
Higgs, you know what we got? We got a fun time because we did podcasts with people besides just us.
Yeah, it's kind of like that pizza rating that we did earlier. The real winners is the books we read along the way, or the friends we made along the way.
It's been a ride, gentlemen.
Just a slice of life.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
better than what you said.
Oh man! Dang it.
You guys have a fancy little outro you like to do?
Yeah, we say some things. You guys can find us on a lot of social medias. You can find me on the Twitters and the Instagrams. Twitter's is Mike Higgins 93, and my Instagram is jstern93. You can find our boy Snoop at none of those things because he doesn't have them.
Don't need them.
He has a Gmail that we do our podcast with, and it's yourcomrades@gmail.com. Send us a thing. Rate us on all of the platforms, preferably Apple, because that's the one people mostly see. Do the same with these guys. I don't know where you guys do your things, but
Yeah, it's a fancy little segment we call Plug and Chug because we plug all the things where you can find it, and then we chug it because it's like taking a whole big gulp all at once.
oh, nice.
Yeah, Harley, you want to handle a plug and chug for us?
You plug, I'll chug this beer.
You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitters, other social medias if you have them
At Catch Up Podcast.
at Catch Up Podcast.
It's
You
nice
can
that
find
you
us
got
on
them all in the same place.
Yes.
Sorry.
Yes. But mostly just Google Catch Up Podcast and it will be on something.
It'll pop up.
If you are looking for a podcast aggregator,
Any of them.
any of them, we'll probably be on there.
Apple?
Find us on Apple Podcasts.
What does Google use? What do you use?
Google Play. I don't use Google Play. I mostly use Spotify, which you can find us on Catch All Podcast.
Nice.
But yeah, I'm not sure about the Googles.
Oh, okay.
We're
Android.
on the Googles, right?
And if you
Ah.
really, really like the show and want to support us, head on over to Patreon. Throw us a few bucks. You get exclusive before show content for tonight's episode.
Like this one. There's a whole pre-show you're never going to hear unless you pay for it.
And if you want to give us money, we don't have a Patreon, but if you want to send us an email, I'll send you my address and you can just drop a few dollars in our mailbox.
Yeah. Well, they'll probably want to give it to you in person, so you should leave the door unlocked.
Oh, yeah. I'll do
Yeah.
that.
I also have a little PSA that I meant to put at the beginning of the show, which I will insert right here. Scrantonicity playing at Bank Street Cafe August. I don't have Adam here to. It's either 6th or 9th. It's that Friday or whatever.
Oh, the 6th is my birthday. Do it on the 6th.
Nice.
It's the 6th because you said the 9th and it was upside down.
Perfect. August. Just come out, hang out. It'll be a fun time. Hopefully,
Nice.
some of us will be vaccinated at that point, which brings me, I will be getting my vaccine tomorrow, which is super
Oh,
exciting.
nice.
Claps.
Which
August
Get-
6th is a Friday, so that's probably it.
August 6th.
Because we've moved past this.
Jesus Christ. It's 6th or 9th. It's one of
Past
the
it,
two.
upside down it.
Yep.
All the ways.
Which gives me the little reach around to my PSA about the COVID vaccine. Apparently, Emily has heard from a friend of hers that Macon, not necessarily where I'm getting my vaccine, but someone she knows who works in Macon in the healthcare profession says that they are throwing a lot of their vaccines away. So if you're interested, just go to a facility in Macon and just ask for it, and they'll be more than happy to give it to you because they would rather vaccinate someone who wants it rather than throw it away.
Interesting.
Hold on.
Why are they throwing them away?
Because there's not enough demand for it. People are not coming and getting it that are able to receive it, so they can't keep it indefinitely, so it gets trashed.
I've heard that Walgreens is the place to go to if you.
Weird. What?
Yeah, I didn't think I was allowed to do it yet.
I also didn't think I was allowed to do it yet, but I went with Emily because she's in the education field, and I just
Yeah.
asked. It's like, hey, you got any extra vaccines? And they're like,
But what?
Yeah.
But wasn't the whole thing of like, they had a certain group that could get it, like elderly,
mm-hmm,
and then it moved on to whoever.
mm-hmm.
But now you're saying that there's not enough in those groups to warrant the vaccines they have, so they're just going to throw them out.
Most likely the situation is that there are enough people in those groups and they have enough for those groups, but those groups are not showing up to be vaccinated is most likely my assumption.
There's also a lot of no-shows, people that make their appointments and then just don't show up.
Yeah.
Man, I guess I'm gonna get
So
shot.
then just move on to the
There's
next.
enough to go around. You can get both shots at once.
Just one in
One
each arm.
Yeah, one in each arm.
Duct tape, both cheeks.
It probably
you
does
stick that
feel
knife
better
in
in the
your
cheeks.
Batman versus Higgins.
Mm-hmm.
Things they're not going to be able to get through those buns of steel.
Buns of steel. Buns of steel. I can't do that voice.
Steel. How was that, Sean Connery? Was that good? That was not one I had practiced.
Henry Jones Jr.
Henry Jones Jr.
We named the dog Indiana.
I think you
Sean,
went,
there's something I have to tell you.
think you went a little
The
bang on
floor is
that
on
one.
fire.
They expect to find one of us in the wreckage, brother.
I hit my wife.
Catch All Podcast is a subsidiary of Catch All Studios LLC and the unfortunate brainchild of Parker Ivy. Your hosts have been me, Parker Ivy, Adam Knight, Emily Ivy, Derek Smith, and Harley Chesney.
Catch All Studios is located right here in Griffin, Georgia.
Our theme song was written by Drew Miller and performed by Adam Knight and Parker Ivy.
Our logo was designed by Pia Polito. You can find her on Twitter at WorksByPip.
If you would like to support the show, please head over to patreon.com/catchallpodcast. Any amount is greatly appreciated and will go towards improving the show.
That shandy might be too good.
Oh, no. I like that shandy a lot. It is not overly beery,
Yeah,
and it's scary.
yeah. Like I could get a lot of these in me
Mm-hmm.
if
Give
I
it
wanted
time.
to.
It's just me.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I have my whole life ahead of me.
I got about a quarter of mine left, I think.
Mm-hmm.
We also have we probably have some other, if you want a little something different, I'm sure we have a variety of stuff upstairs in the drawer of the refrigerator. If you get tired of the shandies.
What a
I'll probably just pop open a Blue Moon, a regular Blue Moon.
You don't need all those calories from the lemonade.
Yeah.
You're trying to get your summer bod.
Well, we only have a little bit of lemonade left.
It's just so good.
It is so good.
It didn't even have any for the comic book portion. All the shandies went down. I didn't know what you were about to do to that microphone, but I was willing to accept whatever happened.
But in the Hebrew alphabet, Jehovah starts with an I.